What an honor it is to welcome you to this holy and sacred place. Wherever your roads have taken you this week, today you've taken a detour for, at least an hour to hang out here and be present with the face of God and all of those around you. But today my call for you throughout all the service will be to, as you go forth from this place, continue to see the face of God in all of those around you. Whether it be the rocks, the dirt, the saguaros, the trees, the leaves, the sunshine, the 115-degree day, but always your neighbor. And so take in those neighbors all around you as you pass the peace of Christ.
Please join us for the call to worship.
We journey together.
Meeting the Holy Leader along the way.
Mender of hearts, curer of maladies.
Invigorates our bodies and souls, so that we may in turn heal others.
So you thought you had to keep this up, all the work that you do, so we think that you're good and you can't believe it's not enough. All the walls you build up are just glass on the outside, so let them fall down. There's freedom waiting in the sound. When you let your walls fall to the ground, we're here now. This is where the healing begins. Oh, this is where the healing starts. When you come to where you're broken within, the light meets the dark. The light meets the dark. Afraid to let your secrets out. Everything that you hide could come crashing through the door now, but too scared to face all your fear. So you hide, but you find that the shame won't disappear. So let them fall down. There's freedom waiting in the sound. When you
morning. If you're expecting Susan Keenan, I hate to disappoint you. She asked me to fill in for her. Hope I can do an amazing job that she does. So let me get my notes together here. My name is Michael Cleveland. I'm the moderator and an elder here at the church. So I wanted to share with you the prayers of our people, concerns of our world, share a brief prayer with you, and then I'll share in the Lord's Prayer with you if that's okay with everybody. Is that okay? All right. So I haven't messed it up so far. Quite challenging, but that's okay. Jessica said something to me as I was walking up here this morning. It kind of sometimes catches you off guard. She said, I see the face of God. That'll catch you off guard if you aren't expecting that. And it's interesting, sometimes we forget that we see the face of God in everything we come in contact with, and every person we meet. There's an opportunity to see the face of God. So as I share with you the prayers and concerns of our church and the prayers that are needed by those out in the world, here we go. Sandy Flores' mom, Rachel Mertz, services will be June 26th at 10 a.m. With a viewing and something, let me just see that. The service will be at South Lawn Cemetery. Those in palliative care or hospice, Rebecca Ben Berlin. It shows here that Kathy Ballard will be having surgery, so prayers for her and the surgeons. Let's remember that Shirley Sandlins is at the forum, and she loves visitors and cards and well wishes. Terry Elliott has been hospitalized for depression, so hold her and lift her up in our prayers. Continued prayers for Rod Marker, Mary Anderson, Karen Powell, Josh Gabbert, Donna Moore, Judy Nichols. Continue to keep her sister in our prayers. And then also I see here that the chaplain Al at Fellowship Square is also having a surgery as well. Next Monday. Okay, we'll continue to keep him in our prayers as well. Janine Bode, Fran Johnson, Roma Beeden, which is one of our SICP kiddos' grandparents. Her cancer is spreading, so continue to keep their family in our prayers as well. Linda Sullivan's wife. Continue prayers for John Larson, Zena Troutman, and for those of you who remember the Kuzners, I always say his name wrong, Noom Samaki was hit by a car on a scooter last week, so let's keep him in our prayers as well. We continue to celebrate the Be the Neighbors. The second group learned so much about the service and justice, and our third group will be arriving on July 20th, so let's get a list of things for them to do while they're here visiting. Cindy Lewis, Terry and Dave's sister, has received clear scan, so congratulations. And remember, we continue to celebrate Pride Month. In addition, camp starts today for Noah and Patrick. They're on their way, and hold Patricia in our prayers as she drives them and doesn't go too crazy. We continue to lift our world up as just kind of crazy out there. Continue prayers for our leaders as they make difficult decisions and are held accountable for their decisions. We lift the prayers for the community of Minnesota, the politicians that were killed in the tragic incident. Obviously, the bombings in Iran and the challenges that are facing the Middle East. Continue prayers for Oak Flat and the Supreme Court to appeal their case tomorrow. Lives that have been lost on the Gaza Strip. Persons of color, immigrants, and all the neighbors who face prejudice and bigotry. And all of us as we seek to bring about and live out peace, joy, love, and truth. And so as I share those things, the prayers that are spoken and asked and those that remain on our hearts that are not spoken, I'll share a word of prayer with you, and then we'll share in the Lord's Prayer. God, we need you. We can't pretend that we have our lives together because we don't. You alone are able to help and sustain us. You alone are able to give us the strength that we need to get through each day. Today, please show us that you are in control and that you are enough for us. And I'll share with you the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And the power and the glory glory forever. Amen.
Please stand if that's comfortable and sing.
Good morning. I'm going to be reading Luke chapter 8, verses 26 through 39. Now, the assigned version is from the New Revised Standard Version, Updated Edition. However, when I read that over several times, I really didn't like the way it flowed. So I Googled the verse, and there were several different versions available, but the one I decided on is the New International Version. And the title is Jesus Restores a Demon-Possessed Man. They sailed to the region of the Gerasenes, which is across the lake from Galilee. When Jesus stepped ashore, he was met by a demon-possessed man from the town. For a long time, this man had not worn clothes or lived in a house, but had lived in the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell at his feet, shouting at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, don't torture me." For Jesus had commanded the impure spirit to come out of the man. Many times it had seized him, and though he was chained hand and foot and kept under guard, several times he broke the chains and had been driven by the demon into solitary spaces. Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "Legion," he replied, because many demons had gone into him, and they begged Jesus repeatedly not to order them to go into the abyss. A large herd of pigs was feeding nearby on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and Jesus gave them permission. So when the demons came out of the man, they went into the pigs, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and drowned. When the people tending the pigs saw what had happened, they ran off and reported this to the town and the countryside. And the people from the towns and the country went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they found the man from whom the demons had been purged sitting at Jesus' feet, fully dressed and in his right mind. And so the town people were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people how the demon-possessed man had been cured. Then all the people of the region, the Gerasenes, asked Jesus to leave them because they were overwhelmed with fear. So Jesus got into the boat and left. The man from whom the demons had gone out begged to go with him, but Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return home and tell how much God has done for you." So the man went away and told all over the town how much Jesus had done for him. May the Lord add his blessing to this reading.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or asked the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends. And we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a loop that never ends. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or as the eagle tell you where she's been? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never
Thank you, Shelter. Thank you for reading scripture. So, shall we take a deep breath in and out and pray together for just a moment? God of the voices of the mountain, of the colors of the wind, we give you thanks for the Tohono O'odham and the Pasquayaki, who tread this land long before we were even thought of. We give you thanks for those who came before us, living lives that saw the beauty in all of creation. Be with us today, that we may hear you, that we may see you, that we may feel you in the voices and the colors all around us. Amen. So who knows who sings that song originally? Pocahontas. She's my favorite princess right now. And Pocahontas so beautifully and articulately tells us, pretty directly, how easily we as a society decide who is worthy of being human and who is not. You think the only people who are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew you never knew. Today we find Jesus stepping into unfamiliar land too. Gerasene land, Gentile land, unclean land, the land of strangers. And immediately he's met by a man who is also seen as unclean. This man is not named yet, not given a home or a family or a tribe, only a condition. He is called demon-possessed. And so people do what they always do with people they fear or don't understand. They cast him out, they lock him up, they try to manage his difference instead of tending to his pain. They chain him, they guard him, they exile him to the tombs, and he doesn't even know the last time he wore clothes. In this story, we see the brutal pattern of empire at work. When someone doesn't fit in, we other them. We don't ask questions to learn more, we just label. He's dangerous, she's unstable, they're illegal. He's not like us. They're just too much. We don't want to see what haunts people, what breaks people, what scars them, because it makes us uncomfortable. So instead, we reduce them to categories. We name them Legion. But what does Jesus do? Jesus asks his name. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't run. He doesn't call for help or ask for a boundary. He draws close, and he dignifies, and he listens. And here is where that song from Pocahontas becomes more than a Disney song. It is pretty clearly a protest hymn. It was a protest hymn at the time that we heard it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a couple years from now, it'll still be a protest hymn. It is a reminder that the land and its people are not ours to own or to erase. Tomorrow, the Apache stronghold will once again go before the Supreme Court, not to ask for privilege, but to plead for protection. To plead for our government to ask and hear the name, to chill Bilda Gotel of their holy mountain, of Oak Flat, a sacred site, a living altar of prayer. However, how many of you have been to Oak Flat? A couple. And so I invite you to consider a little closer to home, because one of the bills that is up right now is calling for Sabino Canyon, Mount Lemmon, Madera Canyon, and the Chiricahuas to be up for sale for mining as well. How many of you have recreated at any of those places? It's a little closer to home when it's us. And yet, in empire, sacredness, recreation, and beauty are no match for copper, for profit. Because, as Pocahontas says, you think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. Profits are prioritized over prayers. Lands and people are not named for their beauty or their belonging, but for what they can be used for, what can be extracted from them, and what they can give. But Jesus asks, what is your name? In every time, in every place, on every piece of earth, and to every person. Not your utility or your productivity or your conformity, but your name. In a world where LGBTQIA+ siblings are legislated into fear, where trans siblings are denied their truth, where pronouns are no longer used as identifiers but erasers of identity, the question echoes. What is your name? What is the story that the empire tried to erase but that God remembers because God wrote alongside of you? Because inside you, I see the face of God. In a world that says you don't belong here, Jesus says, tell me who you are. Last week, we talked about holy detours as paths we take for encounters that we find ourselves on. But this week, I wonder if a holy detour is a person. What if a holy detour is a group of people? What are we missing out on when we fail to recognize God in the face of people along this journey that are different from us? When we fail to see those differences as something holy and sacred that reveals more about the nature of God? When instead of receiving someone's differences, we bomb them. We take away their rights, and we tell them that they need to erase part of who they are in order to make us comfortable or fit our society. We say that in this so-called melting pot of the world, their language has no place in the soup. Their culture is not an ingredient. Their identity is poison to the flavor of freedom. Holy detours. They force us to break free from a mold, a box, a singular idea of what the truth that we were told the Holy Spirit would reveal to us is. To truly see, as Pocahontas told us so long ago, what it is to walk the footsteps of a stranger and learn things we never even knew we didn't know. Holy detours can confront our tidy maps and the footprints that we have seen and known. They confront our safe assumptions or our comfort zones. They lead us to the margins, to those Jesus calls blessed in the Beatitudes, to those who we see as pigs or legions, when really they are just people that Jesus would have loved. Those holy detours invite us into messy stories and harsh realities. They dare us to see the sacred in those that we've written off. The human, the person, the creation of God in our story today with Jesus is restored. Seen for all that they are, healed and named. And the people are terrified. Why? Because the empire is comfortable with chains, not with change. It can handle people being managed but not made whole. It's okay with people being imprisoned or detained, but not with them being free, because it forces the empire to deal with difference that rejects the precedents it sets. Healing always disrupts the systems that depend on brokenness in order to be successful. Governments and corporations don't actually want the criminals deported because if they're not here, how will we have crime? How will we profit off of detention? What they need is someone to be a victim of their system so that they might profit. They do not actually want people experiencing homelessness removed from the washes or the bus stops, because how would they meet their quotas for tickets for every month if they do not criminalize it? They do not actually want the nuclear war to not occur and the enemy to be unarmed, because how will the armistice make any money if there are no new weapons to be made? And so, the town begs Jesus to leave. The country begs Jesus to leave. The people beg Jesus to lead. They stop listening to the word that they heard was in the beginning and that they say is inerrant. They twist the rhetoric of God's love to be only for some, the ones who look and think like them. They say that the Holy Land is only meant for the people who, as Pocahontas tells us, look and think like them. We may think that this is a story in times gone by, but it's happening now. In Gaza, homes are turned to rubble while the world debates definitions of defense. In Iran, bombs drop as if entire nations are disposable. These are not strangers. They are places and people with names, faces, families, children, dogs, cats, livestock. And still, the empire says, they are not like us. Still, the empire chooses walls over bridges, drones over dialogue, fear over the footsteps of a stranger. Pocahontas sings, "Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth." But pine trails are easier to bulldoze when we need the wood to build up and up and up. Borders are easier to blockade when the questions of why people need to flee in the first place are hard to bear the answers to. The sun-sweet children of the earth are sweeter when we do not see the strawberry color fade from their rosy cheeks as the life leaves them. The empire turns holy detours into dead ends. But Jesus calls us to keep walking them, that we may find God anew. And this is where the real challenge comes in. Will we choose comfort or will we choose compassion? Will we beg Jesus to leave or will we follow Jesus into unfamiliar lands? Will we keep the hurting outside of the city gates or the country? On the other sides of oceans and walls and inside ditches where floods are meant to wash them away? Or will we draw near enough to ask their names, to hear their stories? We live in a world that people say is filled with legions, but I don't know anyone with that name. And also filled with people who were once called legion, but who are now clothed in their right minds and proclaiming what God has done for them. People who, instead of following Jesus back into the boat, are sent back into the very communities that cast them out to tell the story of love, of grace, of compassion from people like you. From people in our communities, from people who heard the call of God and answered it. They go back to tell stories of liberation, stories of healing. And I don't know about you, but I want to walk that path. I want to meet those who have been left in the tombs. I want to ask names. Because a name, no matter how hard it is for my tongue to make shape around or how hard it is for me to pronounce, gives meaning and familiarity. Siblinghood in God. Solidarity in creation beyond a number or a grouping or a scientific name for a plant outside. Beyond a title or a stereotype. Because I know, like Pocahontas knows, that every rock, every tree, and every creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. And I want to tell the stories. I want to be part of the movement that chooses compassion over control and healing over fear. That is not afraid to tell the truth even when the truth is hard. That is not afraid to take pictures and write books, to share space and take time. That sees, that hears, that shares, that shows up. And so let us go into these holy detours, into the unclean lands, into the tombs and the margins, because it is there that we will meet Jesus. And it is there that we will be changed. I wonder what language, what words, what answers we might begin to sing from the voices of the mountains if we take those detours. I wonder what new shade, what new pigment, what new color of the wind we might find on a holy detour of seeing God in the humanity of everyone. I wonder what our song will sound like and our painting will look like. Amen.
Please stand if that's comfortable to sing.
In our time of offering today, we should be hearing a fun fact about the earth, but Jocelyn had the audacity to go to a conference. And so today, for my offering, I brought to the table a cross. Last week, I told you the story of some wooden crosses that were placed in the desert by a man named Alvaro Enciso to demarcate a life that was lost there. And so this week, the group went with Alvaro, and we checked on some crosses, and we planted 3 more. I worked on my tan a little bit. Don't tell Susan Keenan. But this cross from 2006 that Alvaro had planted had decayed and fallen. And so he made the statement that he was just going to take it home and maybe repurpose it into something else and paint a new one and put it up. Because he doesn't just put them there, he remembers and he stands alongside of. The group asked if they could have the cross, and so I told him I'd ship it to him. I didn't tell him I'd borrow it for church on Sunday. But it is the offering that I bring today. An offering of presence, of power, of love. Because each time that we gather with other people who believe, who love, who follow Christ, we carry a cross with us. We carry our love with us. We carry whatever gifts and talents and skills and money that we have to offer. That may be, like Alvaro, our faith and our presence can change the landscape, can show up for someone, and can continue to bring the kingdom of God closer and closer to this earth. And so during this time of reflection, I invite you to consider what it is that you have to offer. Not necessarily your money, though I'm sure the church would appreciate that. But your gifts and times and talents, and not just to the church, but to the communities and the people that you know, and the ways that Jesus calls you to take a holy detour.
Lord, we need bread that feeds us. Lord, we need drink that heals. We need a word that cheers us. We need a life that endures. Lord, give us bread that feeds us. Lord, give us drink that heals. Lord, speak the word that cheers us. Lord, grant us life that endures. You are the bread that feeds us. You are the drink that heals. You are the word that cheers us. Lord, you're the life that endures.
Hello again. I'm Jessica. Pocahontas also says in her song that whether we are white or coppered skin, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. We need to paint with all the colors of the wind. And I don't think that Jesus cares what you look like when he set this table for you. Because in the Christian church, Disciples of Christ, we practice an open table. Because when Jesus set the table with his friends, he set it for those who were destined to betray him and those who were destined to deny him. Those women who would find him, those men who would continue to take the holy detours into the world. And so at this table, everyone is welcome, and you are beloved. And so I invite forward those who are helping us to set this table this morning. Because it is here at this table and from this table that we experience love, that we experience the presence of God every single time that we gather. And so we remember a story here of on the night that Jesus was betrayed, when he took bread and he blessed it and he broke it and he gave it to his disciples and to his friends and to strangers and said, "This is the bread of life, my body broken and given and shared with you. And so as often as you eat of it, do this in remembrance of me." And then after supper, he took a cup and he poured that out too, freely and flowingly and beautifully, and said, "This is the cup of a new covenant, the cup of my love poured out for you. And as often as you drink of it, may you remember me, and may you be filled with love to the brim, bursting and ready to share." And so from this table, we sang about needing bread and needing love and needing light. And so you are invited. The table is set and the meal is ready. Thanks.
No mountain, no valley, no gain or loss we know could keep us from your love. No sickness, no sin.
Good to see you again. I feel like I've talked too much today. Let me know when you're tired of it. I have a couple announcements to share with you. On Saturday, bright and early, 8 o'clock, we're meeting right here at Saguaro, and we're going up the mountain with Rob Madrigal. We're going to hike on Mount Lemon. That's Saturday, the 28th. He hasn't lost a hiker yet. He's a very patient man. If you're not receiving the newsletter, you can sign up with that QR code right there and get all of the information I'm about to share with you and more. On July 27th, we'll have a Be the Neighbor Sunday, and Linda, who's one of our interns that has been with us the past 2 weeks, will offer our message. She's Pentecostal at heart, so I'm interested to see just how fun and beautiful her sermon is. Quail Hour is after church in the Quail Room. On Tuesday night, we had executive order conversations with Dave Coatsworth, and I missed it, I'm sorry. And there are more executive order conversations. These are through the region and the Anti-Racism Pro-Reconciliation team. You can find that in your newsletter. Camp started today, and so we hold Patricia and Patrick and Noah Valadares in our prayers today. And there's a protest at Eloy Detention Center at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. And so I invite you to stand and receive a benediction. At Be the Neighbor, it is all about our neighbors. And so I'm going to invite this to be an interactive benediction. Pick a neighbor, shake their hand, and repeat after me while talking to them. You are God's beloved. God's love is for you. So go and be the neighbor who shares love in all you say and do. Amen.